Welcome, everyone. Please drop some prayer emojis for Nipsey Hussle, his community, and his family. My name is Janelle Santana. I am the founder of Self-Care Strength-Based Approach. Today, we will talk about the six human needs, why we do what we do. I know we are still trying to wrap our heads around why and how a man with so much potential, a man with a huge heart, be murdered in the very place he tried to help empower and employ those he came in contact with. We are talking about Nipsey Hussle. Can we please have a moment of silence to pray for Nipsey Hussle and his family and his community? First, I want to share with you that I never knew or heard of Nipsey Hussle until his passing. I really don't listen to new rap music. I usually stick to the old rap music. But my son came in the room and said, "Mommy, they killed one of the good ones." I, of course, said, "Who was killed?" He said, "Nipsey Hussle." I didn't want to sound insensitive, but I had no clue as to who Nipsey was and why my son was calling him a good one. My son started playing his music. We listened, and my son said, "Mommy, he helped people in his community so much." I processed the death of Nipsey with my son, and then I went on to social media and saw and read all the posts and comments about Nipsey. I then began my research on Nipsey, and to my surprise, he was actually a person who helped elevate his community. I am aware of the many rumors surrounding Nipsey's death as far as his documentary on Dr. Sebi. I know his accused killer was a known informant, snitch. I just want to touch on his life and why he did what he did. I will include his accused killer as well so we can get a better understanding of why he needed to pull the trigger. Nipsey and his brother Sam went from selling small items on a strip of Crenshaw to him and his brother owning a clothing store called Marathon. Nipsey Hussle was an ambassador for Eritrea. I'm probably not saying that correctly, where his family is from. He also was an ambassador for Puma clothing lining and shoe company. Hussle opened several businesses in Crenshaw where he grew up. He partnered with his sister Samantha to open Vector 90. Hussle also owned a variety of stores where he rented out to local businesses. He owned his own record label, All Money In. He was good. Hussle was fatally shot outside his store, Marathon, by Eric Holder, whom he had a dispute with regarding Holder being able to enter his store. Hussle and Holder were members of the Rolling 60s Crip gang. So let's jump into our self-care topic, which is six human needs, why we do what we do. Why continuous pain would mean continuous damage, if continuous damage eventually means death. The Six Human Needs by Anthony Robbins. The first one is certainty. The second one is variety and uncertainty. The third one is significance. The fourth one is connection and love. The fifth one is growth. And the sixth one is contribution. So the first one is certainty. For most people, certainty equals survival. We all need a sense of certainty so that we can avoid pain and gain pleasure. Some people try to achieve certainty by trying to control everything around them. Certainty is the need for safety, stability, security, comfort, order, predictability, control, and consistency. Certainty is a survival need, so everyone has that need. Example, Nipsey grew up in the Crenshaw area. He was certain that he wanted to and did everything to build his community back up. He felt safe because he was raised in the community and people respected him. Nipsey opted not to have security, no matter how much money he was worth, which was $4.5 million. He was certain that the community would protect him. Most rappers leave their communities once they become famous, but not Nipsey. Example 2. Holder, Nipsey's accused killer, was certain no one would disrespect him and tell him where he can and can't go. He knew he needed to do something because he had to live in that community and he also grown up in that community. Nipsey didn't want him around his place of business. Just let me say this, no one wants a snitch or an informant around them because they can become potential targets. Number two, uncertainty and variety. This is another one we all need. The need for the unknown, change, new stimuli. Everyone needs variety, surprise, a challenge to feel fully alive and to experience fulfillment. With too much certainty, we're bored. Likewise, with too much variety, we become extremely fearful and concerned. We need a degree of certainty in our lives to appreciate the variety. There's a delicate balance between certainty and uncertainty that must be struck for us to feel truly fulfilled. Nipsey Hussle was signed to Epic Records. He wanted to have his own record label. He was uncertain about how that would pan out. He did say there was bumps in the road, but even though he was uncertain, he created his own record label called All Money In. The day of his death, he asked Holder not to return to his store through a heated argument. He wasn't certain whether or not Holder would come back and retaliate by shooting and killing him. That's the uncertainty. We just don't know. Third one, significance. Feeling unique, important, special, or needed. Significance can be positive or negative. We all have a need for significance, a sense that we are unique in some way, that we have a special purpose or meaning for our lives. This need is met through constructive and destructive ways. Your life has a purpose and a meaning to feel unique and special. The need to feel significant in a negative way. If you were never seen or heard, never valued or appreciated, if you were never acknowledged for being an important person, maybe one day you become a criminal and have a gun in your hand and you see someone you had an issue with or beef. You automatically will put a gun to their head and point it. Your need for significance just shot up the roof because you just took that person's credentials and everything that person had with that gun. The moment you pull the trigger, when you pull the trigger, you will meet your need for variety because you don't know what's going to happen after you pull the trigger. But you need your need for certainty because you know, because you're in control. In that moment, you meet your need of significance because you feel more important. You didn't have to study or spend money because here you are taking that person's significance right off the bat, just killing them. Nipsey's short life had a purpose. He surrounded himself with people who loved him because he became famous. And while he was famous, Nipsey poured all his energy, money, and time back in his community. His need for significance came from his dedication to his community. The significance thing Nipsey stood for needed not be seen in the spotlight. He loved his family, his longtime girlfriend, his daughter, and his son. Nipsey was just a person who didn't need all the luxuries so that he can have significance in his life. Holder, on the other hand, needed to be in the spotlight. He felt because they had a dispute outside in front of other people, and Nipsey basically embarrassed him, he needed to prove himself by going to get a gun, aiming it, and firing multiple shots into Nipsey. Holder needed for significance is he shot and killed a man in broad daylight. And he didn't run far, as you all know. He was caught so many miles from the scene. As we all know, Holder wasn't thinking about all the significant things Nipsey was doing for the community. He didn't think about Nipsey's family. He was being selfish and took Nipsey away from all the things he was set out to do. I do believe his legacy will live on through his siblings and his life partner. Connection and love. A strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. This is a feeling connected with yourself as well as others with whom you can share your love with. To meet this need, you can join a group or a club that has positive purpose. Some individuals even join gangs for negative purposes, but they still achieve the feeling of connection. Example, Nipsey had a connection to his family, whom he opened his businesses with. He also had a strong connection with his life partner, Lauren London. He had a strong connection with his children. Nipsey had a connection with his community. He tried to basically buy the block back. He wanted to turn his community around by transforming corporation businesses into Black-owned businesses. He had a connection to his numerous business partners and a strong connection to his music. He even had an enormous connection to people leaving jails by employing them. He helped people. Nipsey had a connection to the Rolling 60s Crips gang. He may or may not have continued with his gang activities, but he most definitely had the connection. I as well know there's no way out of a gang. There's no way out. You can't get out of a gang, so you have to stay in it. Despite belonging to a gang, Nipsey had a philosophy of nonviolence. So let's talk about Holder. Holder was also connected to the Rolling 60s. He was a rapper as well. His connection and love was to his gang, but once he became an informant, gang members didn't want nothing to do with him. That's why Nipsey asked him multiple times to stay away from his store because he wanted no connection to an informant snitch because of the dangers being involved with someone who is a snitch. Number 5, growth and experience. An expansion of capacity, capability, or understanding. Growth equals life on this planet. Everything that is alive is either growing or dying. Growth is one of the 2 primary needs in life. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many people acknowledge you, what you've achieved in life. Unless you feel like you're growing, you will be unhappy and unfulfilled. When you get in your comfort zone, you're not driven. You no longer grow. When you're not growing, you start to die inside. When you're no longer growing, you're dying inside. And you stop contributing in a meaningful way. Example, Nipsey didn't care about how much money he had or his worth. He didn't glorify himself. He empowered his community to grow. His growth was seeing his community eat and for the children in the community to have the opportunity to get an education. Nipsey growth was basically contributing in a meaningful way. Holder's growth was dying. He couldn't contribute to himself or anyone else. He couldn't see Nipsey doing well. He wanted recognition and respect. Now he's living a life of fear of losing his life because he took Nipsey's life. The last one, number 6, contribution. A sense of service and focus on helping, giving, and supporting others. We all have a deep need to go beyond ourselves and to live a life that serves the greater good. It is in the moments that we do this and we want to experience joy and fulfillment. Contributions are not only made to others, but contributing to ourselves is a meaningful action as well. For we cannot give to others of which we do not have. You can't give what you don't have, ladies and gentlemen. A balance of contribution to oneself and to others, especially unselfish contribution, is the ultimate secret to the joy that so many people wish to have in their lives. Contribution beyond yourself in a meaningful way. That's all contribution is. Example, Need I say more? Nipsey's contributions go beyond words. He made contributions to the rap game, the community. He shared his lyrics with the world. He made multiple contributions to his community. He tried to buy the block. Yes, I said buying the block. He was literally buying his block back. His contributions also include his clothing store, Marathon, which sold exclusive Puma wear, Vector 90, which is an inner city co-working community and incubator focused on developing unrepresented entrepreneurs, and so many more contributions. Too many to say tonight. Holder's contributions was to his criminal activities, such as selling drugs, continuing the vicious cycle of black on black crime. He even may have been a part of the conspiracy to kill Nipsey over the Dr. Saber documentary. Who knows? He could have been sent by the police government to do the dirty work. He was an informant. That's what they do. I want us to continue to pray for Nipsey and his family. If all humans have 6 human needs, why do we behave different? Because the only thing different people do is 2 things. First, we all have the 6 human needs. The second one is we don't value them equally. We move them around a lot. People will give up their goals and needs and values to meet their needs. All humans have different desires, but they are driven by the exact same need. If there's anything you do that others find difficult, but that you love to do and that you could do for hours, I can promise you it's because you get a tremendous amount of certainty, variety, significance, or uniqueness, connection, growth, and or contributions from this. When we perceive that an action will meet many of our needs, we are driven to take action. Likewise, if there's something you avoid doing or are constantly putting off because your current strategy or approach causes you to feel lack of certainty that it will have pleasure, or maybe you actually have a sense of certainty that it will be painful, or you don't believe it meets many of your other needs. Anything human beings do to meet all 6 of their needs simply change your perception. What they notice, what they appreciate or believe, or their strategy, how they approach getting the job done. The top 2 needs is significance and certainty, and they are the worst needs. The reason is you'll never have substantial happiness. So you should try and shift your need. Certainty is control. Try and shift your need to love and contribution. Those are the best 2 needs. Because when you have significance before love, then you believe you always have to be significant or do something significant in order to feel love. The 6 human needs answer to why we do what we do. I hope it answered your question. Why Holder killed Nipsey? Certainty is the need for safety, stability, security, comfort, order, predictability, control, and consistency. Uncertainty, variety, the need for the unknown, change, or new stimuli. Significance, feeling unique, important, special, or needed. Significance can be positive or negative. Number 4, connection, love, a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. The 5th one, growth, an expansion of capacity, capability, or understanding. Contribution, a sense of service and focus on helping, giving to, and supporting others. Nipsey Hussle was more than just a rapper. He was an entrepreneur, an activist, and a community leader who lived and ultimately died in the same community he tried to rebuild. Before Nipsey died, he tweeted out, "Having strong enemies is a blessing." This segment is dedicated to my brother Oswaldo, whom was gang affiliated and murdered, and to all who lost their lives in the streets. I hope I provided you with a better understanding of why we do what we do. Before we end, I have to rap for you guys. Yes, I have to rap because I found some lyrics, Nipsey song. I don't own the rights to these lyrics, but I like them. Grinding on My Life by Nipsey Hussle. So y'all ready? Let me get my rap skills out. All my life been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, had to pay the price. Want a slice, gotta roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. And as you all know, I always grind. I just want everyone to have a good night and educate and love upon your children.